man, it's Friday night and we're here talking football. Man, James left this. Oh man. Oh God. James left this message at 4:50 in the morning. So he's excited. Victory Friday. Go Lions. Woohoo! Fuck! Only here for a minute, but if this is a slow start, I would hate to see what the Lions do if they keep going. Well, I stand by that. I thought they would start off slow. Jameson Williams is now reinstated 2 games early. So that means his suspension's over, and it's perfect timing because you guys played Thursday, so he's going to have a couple extra days to get integrated into the offense where you have Laporta and Gibbs. And, it's just another weapon to an offense that put up 34 on the road. So I stand by my statement that the Lions are going to get better as the season moves on. I stand by that. I was expecting 1-3, maybe 2-2, but 3-1. I just full disclosure. If the Packers won this game, it wouldn't indicate that they're a better team than the Lions. It wouldn't indicate that at all. But the Lions winning establishes dominance in the NFC North. There's a new king of the North. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter when you win convincingly on the road against a team that I think really circled this game. I really got to believe that they really circled this game. And you came out and you just dominated. I think, and there's a few things you have to realize. Since you guys, okay, how do I say this delicately? Since you guys aren't used to winning, since you guys are not used to winning, there's a few things you're going to realize that are a little different. So let me give you a few tips. Number one, in the playoffs, and I'm going to say it right now, you guys are going to win the North. When you get to the playoffs, it's not the team with the most talent. It's usually the team that's the healthiest. The team that's the healthiest. And this is why I know Luke and I think you're in the same boat, and a few other fans are on the same boat that don't like that Gibbs is being underutilized. Well, I know Montgomery had 32 carries. Gibbs had 8. And Gibbs had 4 receptions. I don't think Montgomery had any. I could be wrong, but let's just call it 32-12. Let's just call it 32-12. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. You want Montgomery to get 30 touches, and you want Gibbs to get somewhere in that 10-12 range. And the reason why I say that is that all rookies are going to hit the rookie wall. You're guys like Gibbs, Laporta, and Branch that are playing really good. Towards the end of the year, they're going to get a little worn down. There's no East Carolina or Western Michigan on the schedule. I mean, I know the Bears are looking really bad right now, but there's going to be some wear and tear, and rookies are going to wear down a little bit. So how you're utilizing Gibbs, I think is perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect. Yeah, one pride. JMO is back, and you get him at the perfect time because you get him off of Thursday night. So if I'm correct, he can be in the building getting integrated into the offense. So it's perfect timing. And the Tennessee Titans, was it Nicholas Pierre-Fried, something like that? They really need him on the offensive line. So it's good timing. So the rule is that if you get caught betting on your own team, it's a 2-year mandatory suspension. I think it's 1 year if you're betting on football. I should have the Pacifics up, but I don't. But I do not. So, but I should, and that's on me. That's on me. I'm going to double check here. I'm going to double check everything here. I should be good to go here on YouTube, and I should be streaming to you on Twitter and Facebook. And these are things that may be changing up here in the near future. Just so you know, I got a lot of plans in the works. It's just that it's just really a time thing is what the issue is. It's just a timing thing. So there's going to be a lot of things in the works. So the channel is going to be improving as time goes on. Like, for example, I wanted to live stream this game and do play-by-play and reaction, but I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to. But a lot of things in this channel is going to be improving. So for those of you that are here now, I really appreciate it. A Thursday night domination. He was betting on a basketball game. Well, you're going to now. I ain't mad at how they're using Gibbs. I laugh at people that scream he needs more touches. If you look at his targets, rushes, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think 12. I'm pretty sure it was 12. I'm pretty sure it was 8 carries, 4 receptions, and I think that's perfect. I think that you really want to have a 3-to-1 ratio, a 3 with Montgomery and 1 to Gibbs. Now 32-12 is if I'm doing my math right, it's what's there 12, about 2.5. And I'm okay with that as well, but I really think you want a lot more Montgomery than Gibbs. I'll be honest, I think 12 is perfect. Yeah, exactly. But the Lions offense gained a lot of speed. Absolutely. So one probably, I don't know if you heard my rant earlier, but I'm just going to kind of reiterate. If Green Bay won this game, it wouldn't affect my power rankings. By the way, my power rankings, my very first power rankings is going to come out Monday. I think I'm going to do Monday morning power rankings. I'm not really a big fan of power rankings because the NFL is all about matchups. It's not about rankings. It's not like one team is better than another team. It's not like Madden where one team's got an 88 ranking, another one's got an 85. Certain teams just match up better against others. So I'm hesitant, but I wanted to get something out there so I could show you how I view 1 through 32. And I kind of want to get your opinion. I think it's going to be kind of short. I think it's going to be a short video. I think it's just going to be like a quick boom, boom, boom. And I just kind of get it out there because I kind of want to hear from you guys. And when I say hear from you guys, I know that everybody's always going to agree with me. Nobody ever disagrees with me. If I say something, people just treat it like gospel, like, boom, this is 1000% right. So, yeah. But I'd like to get your opinion of it. Speaking of opinions, every Monday I'm going to start doing most annoying fan base, and the Kansas City Chiefs win as far as the most embarrassing, the most annoying fan base. And the truth is, over the last couple of years, yes, we deserve it. We've been super douchey lately. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, Chiefs Kingdom. My buddy Boof, I was a little surprised about this. Boofa said Denver. I was a little surprised. Speed at the wide receiver position and running back position. You're 1000% correct, One Pride. And I don't know if you heard this or not, but I'm standing by my statement that you're going to be better at the end of the season than you are at the beginning of the season. Okay? You're going to be better at the end of the season than you are at the beginning of the season, but some of these rookies are going to hit the rookie wall. So that's kind of why I like the Gibbs is only getting like 10 to 12 touches a game. Like he got 12 on Thursday night. And that's where you need to have him at. That's exactly where you need to have him at because, there is no, 1 AA opponent on your schedule. You may say the Bears, but I mean, you want to keep these guys healthy. Because a few things that you're not used to is that, number one, when you hit the playoffs, it's who's healthiest, not exactly who's best. Another thing that you're going to find out is during the offseason, you're going to find out you're going to get defections. For the very first time, you're going to have average players on your team leave in free agency for way higher than market value. It's going to happen. I don't have a list of Lions free agents, but you're going to get it. There's going to be a player who's going to leave and you're just going to be floored at how much he's going to get from another team. You may also have a coordinator leave in free agency. Probably Ben Johnson's kind of the name I'm thinking is going to go. Aaron Glenn may also go. And I have no idea, by the way, if either one of these coaches are interested in a college position, because there's going to be multiple college positions that are going to be open as well. Especially if a college head coach decides to come back into the NFL. And I'm thinking, you get Jim Harbaugh, Lincoln Riley out of USC. I would really be surprised if Chip Kelly came back to the NFL, but it's a possibility. It really is. And then sometimes you get a candidate like Matt Rule, who came from Baylor, which I wouldn't have seen. But you do get, there is a possibility that one of your coordinators is going to leave. So you're going to find out there's some things you got to learn about being a winning team. But the one thing I'll say, the big thing I would say about Thursday night is that the King of the North, and here's the thing, you have a young team. So you have a young team, you have a talented team. I got to think that, because I'm looking at the Vikings and I'm looking at the Packers and the Bears are just a complete disaster. I think that the team for the next several years that's going to win, that's going to rule the NFC North, is going to be the Detroit Lions. That's just the way I see it. The only way I want more carries for Gibbs if the Lions, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Funk, absolutely. But, when you're putting up 34 and you get 12 touches, that's perfect. I'm excited. You should be. You should be. Denver Gator! What's up, peeps? Been laying low since that embarrassing beatdown. I can't even score 70 in Madden. I know. I can't even score 70 on a school test, Denver Gator. I mean, it's crazy. It's just nuts, man. Just nuts. So you haven't told both Denver or Bears? Sorry, Gator. You know what? It just occurred to me. I don't think I put my picks video out in the description. I know all my social media, but if you haven't checked out my video, do. But I'll let you in on a secret. I like Denver. I think that they're going to struggle this year, but I think the Bears are a complete disaster. I think the Bears are a complete disaster, and I'm gonna stand by this. I think Eberflus is probably going to be fired soon. I know that it's not something the Bears have done a lot of in the past, fire coaches mid-season, but I think that's what you're going to get. I really believe that. I really believe that Eberflus is going to be fired, and I like Denver. So you know what? I was going to go in order, but I'll just give it to you real fast. The line opened at 3. By the way, all these numbers are DraftKings. If you have a different sports book that you want to, for me to use, but I've been using DraftKings. I just like the way it's set up. Just been using it. Not a lot of action on this game one way or another. The over's gone up, which I'm a little surprised about, but went from 46 and a half, which isn't big at all. But it stayed at 3. I mean, Denver's a 3-point favorite on the road. So and I think Denver wins this game. I mean, it may be interesting, but I would be shocked if Denver didn't win by somewhere around touchdown. Just popping in, say hi to the chat, might be on later. Denver Gator, you're always welcome, man. It's so good to have you in here, man. So good to have you in here, man. And fun fact, Mahomes at 45 has the most yards on the ground of any person has carried the ball. I did not know that. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, there is a lot to be excited about. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, there's a lot to be excited about. Um, I really thought you're going to start off slow. I think that after the bye, I kind of think you're going to kick it into another gear. I think you're going to win the North. Full disclosure, even though I have you guys winning the North, do I think you're as good as San Francisco and Philly? No, I do not. But I think that you're going to host at least one playoff game, and I think that you guys will probably have the North wrapped up. It's funny because I'm completely going backwards from what I was saying before the season started. I really thought it would come down to the last couple weeks of the season. I don't think so anymore. I think you're going to be trying to fight for home field advantage, barring injuries, of course. So Broncos have to win. I got to think so. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them to get things on track. I don't have the schedule completely memorized, but I think they play Kansas City week 6 and 8. No disrespect, but probably got some losses there. But I mean, even if you don't make the playoffs, people, think that, we have a higher draft pick, we're going to be better. That's not always true. I've never really believed in that. And the only reason you would want to have a higher draft pick if you're Denver is if you're 1,000% taking a quarterback, and I'm not sure you are. Funk, man, I'm going to tell you something, Funk. It's always really, really great to see you here. It's always great to have you on. We'll just kind of leave it at that, man. I hope you hop on the live stream Sunday night, Chiefs and Jets, man. It'd be great to see you, man. It's always great to have you in the chat. Hutch was an absolute problem in that Thursday night game. Yeah. I mean, yeah. They may need to flex that game. And McNeil's had good back-to-back games. I seriously thought that you would start the season slow. You're proving, and seriously, you guys are just proving me wrong. Isn't the Bears coach a doctor? All right, there. I'm sorry. I'm having some computer issues here. 6th ranked offense and defense. Do I think Detroit is running away? Yes, I do. I really do. Minnesota's 0-3. In 2 weeks, they're going to play Kansas City. It's in Minneapolis. There's a very good chance that you're going to lose that game against Kansas City. Minnesota's going to lose that game against Kansas City. So it's a tiebreaker. If Minnesota, let's say they win, let me see, who are they playing here? Okay, they're playing Carolina. Okay, let's just say beat Carolina. They're probably going to lose Kansas City. I mean, let's just be honest. So they're going to be 1-4. Even if you guys lose next week and you go 3-2, that's still 2 games up. So the answer is yes. I really do, because I really thought if Green Bay won, it would just make things a lot more interesting because you get Minnesota in the mix. But with Green Bay losing, you really have Detroit and 3 other teams that I think have issues. I'm not sold on Jordan Love. I really thought that this game they would reach up to another level. I really did. And I don't believe in revenge games, but this was an exception. It didn't work out. Minnesota, I mean, 0-3 starts tough. I mean, can they get things turned around? Sure. I think they're talented. I think the defense as the season goes on is going to get better. Again, no disrespect to the Vikings, but I don't see them beating Kansas City. I do. I'm now on board, Funk. I'm sorry, One Pride. I'm now on board. Yeah, I do think Detroit's going to run away with the division. Can you imagine if we make a trade during the deadline to rich get richer? I'm trying to remember. I really don't see Dorsey doing that. I'm looking at your roster. I'm not really seeing a player that you would add. I don't see anybody that you would really want to add. The only thing I could think of would be, an aging veteran wide receiver, and a couple names that stand out. Chase Claypool, I know, is unhappy. I just don't see him in Detroit at all. I just don't think it's a good fit. And then the guy that I just don't see doing it, but a guy I think that would be perfect would be a guy like Adam Thielen, but I just don't see it. But I'm gonna level with you. Before the season started, I could see somebody. Ooh, God! You remember how much I love this dude? I love Derek Brown. I was so high on him, but yeah, Jordan Love wasn't really that impressive, but his O-line failed him. I've never been sold on Jordan Love. I've never been sold on Jordan Love. I watched him twice in college, and I watched 2 full games, and they were both blowout losses. I thought like this was a 5th, 6th round pick, maybe a 7th. I saw some athleticism, but I never saw a 1st round quarterback. And don't get me wrong, I think Green Bay's just kind of like in a rebuild mode right now, to be perfectly honest. I think they have a lot of things they have to fix, but I thought their front 7 would be a lot more impressive than they were. I mean, they played a lot better in the second half, don't get me wrong, but still. No, I'm going to tell you this right now. The Raiders are going to do everything they can to keep Max Crosby in silver and black. But one thing I do agree upon, me and you completely agree, one pride, is that Max Crosby would look great in the Chiefs uniform. Me and you are 100% in agreement there. So he's been mid, but not trash. Would take Love. Oh yeah, I would take Love over Fields. And let me phrase that. Like this year, yeah. If I was starting from scratch and I could just take one and like, hey, you're a quarterback for the next 4 years, maybe Fields, because I think Fields has more upside, but he's a guy that I'm not. I honestly think like Chicago may just get rid of him after this year. Where I think Love is going to stay in Green Bay. I think, and the key word is here, think. I didn't think so. I think they kind of are in rebuild mode. I mean, there's some good pieces in Green Bay, but that offensive line I think needs multiple pieces. I'm not sure Bacchiardi, like his health situation. I've said this many times, and with the NFL changing and more emphasis being put on the right tackle, it used to be that the left tackle was so much more valuable than the right tackle. Things have kind of shifted in the NFL. But they have some holes on the offensive line. All those young receivers and tight ends need to develop. I'm still not sold on Jordan Love. Don't get me wrong. Green Bay's defense has some pieces, but when I look at the other 3 teams in the division, I see problems with all 3 of them. I see a young, talented team in Detroit that's going to lose. You guys are going to lose some players in free agency. Okay, you guys are going to lose some players in free agency this year. You're going to get there's going to be some average players on the Detroit Lions that are going to leave in free agency this year and get a lot more money. And you're going to be like, what the hell? There's going to be at least one guy that you're going to go, what the hell? He got how much? And I promise that's going to happen. I'm going to go over the other 15 games. I'm going to go over the point spreads and how things have changed. I'm going to give you my prediction, even though I really hope that you checked out my picks video. Monday, I think I'm going to have my very first power rankings video. Plus Monday, I'm going to have. I haven't decided on how I'm going to do it yet, but I think I'll go with like the 4 AFC divisions, then the 4 NFC divisions with the most annoying fan base, and the winner is for the AFC West. Kansas City Chiefs are the most annoying fan base. So, but I'm just going to go in order here. Atlanta at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a 3-point favorite. Over-unders at 43. No action on this game. It's just stayed pretty steady. Not a lot one way or another. I do like Jacksonville to win this one, and I think they get back on track. They were my pick. Trevor Lawrence was my pick for MVP. I thought Jacksonville would be the team that would really take a step up, and they've taken a big step back so far, but I think they get on track. Atlanta's a team that if they don't make the playoffs, I think Arthur Smith, Arthur Blank's the owner. Arthur Blank will fire Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith will end up not being there. First 2 seasons they were 7-10. Plus, he wanted Kyle Pitts, and the general manager, if I remember correctly, wanted Malik Willis, which probably would have ended up being a disaster. But when you have a first-time general manager and a first-time head coach in year one, you guys can't agree on the direction. That just spells that's just a bad thing. So Atlanta needs to win, but it's just a tough game. Jonah Jackson, absolutely, yeah. Jonah Jackson. I don't have a list of all the free agents, but trust me, there's going to be several guys from the Lions that are going to leave for big money, and you're going to be like, that guy's getting what? And like I said, Ben Johnson and Anthony Glenn will probably entertain offers, and I have no idea because there's going to be some big time college programs that are going to offer a lot of money, and one of them might want to go to the college ranks, and you never know. I don't follow college football as much as I follow pro football, but with conference realignments, I think things are going to change. And so one of these guys might want to go to the college ranks, Anthony Glenn or Ben Johnson. Hatters out 710. Go Lions! Yes. Celebrate! No, I agree. The Pats were notorious for it. Yeah, exactly. And that's something that's going to be a little weird and different for you this offseason than in other off seasons. You're going to have your players leave, and they're going to get a lot more money than you're expecting. And you're going to have multiple defections, and you're going to have 1 or 2 of your coordinators probably leave. More than likely, Ben. I think Ben's goes to the Chargers, in my opinion. I'm gonna level with you. I think the better fit would actually be Chicago, and the reason why I say that is that he's a little more familiar with the team. He's also familiar with the Lions. I also think that the Bears are going to have maybe the number 1 pick in the draft, and he can get his guys from scratch. And one thing is that because Chicago is such a shitstorm, all you got to do is be a mediocre team. You can keep your job. If you take the Chargers job, they're thinking Super Bowl or bust. And I mean, Chargers and Chiefs haven't played yet, but you got to go against that Patrick guy a couple of years. So Glenn should go to the seriously. As That's actually not bad. But normally, don't get me wrong, but God, who was the Jets? No. Adam Gase was an offensive guy, so it usually goes offense, defense. And so since they went with Saleh, it wouldn't surprise me. To tell you the truth, if Robert Saleh gets let go, I'm drawing a complete blank, but the guy Aaron Rodgers brought in as the offensive coordinator. Drawing a complete blank on the guy's name right now. It wouldn't surprise me if they go that route. Out of all the teams, you know where I think he would go. And I think it would be a lot of fun for everybody involved. Aaron Glenn would be to the Falcons because the defensive scheme is kind of multifaceted that they ran. They got a new defensive coordinator took over for oh crap. I'm drawing a complete blank, but when Arthur Smith took over, he convinced the former Titans defensive coordinator to come out of retirement, and he left this year. But to tell you the truth, like when you said Aaron Glenn, and I'm thinking of the teams, and I just thought of Atlanta. I think Atlanta would be a great fit for a guy like Aaron Glenn. Yeah, exactly. Trey Flowers got a ridiculous deal. Yeah, you're going to have somebody leave that's going to get a lot of money, and you're going to go, really? Yeah. Next game is Washington at Philly. Philly opened up at 8. The over-under is 44.5. It's funny. The over-under has dropped to 43, but Philly's now 9.5. I get that. People think Washington's just not good of a team. It makes all the sense in the world. I actually think that this division game is going to be a lot closer than people think, but I do think that I do think Philly wins this game. I got Washington covering, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Philly's offense looks a little off to me. Jalen Carter's just played phenomenal. The defense might actually be better, but the offense looks a little off. It wouldn't surprise me if this game's a lot closer than people think. Next up, Baltimore at Cleveland. Cleveland opened up at a 2.5-point favorite. It's now all the way down to 1. The over-under's dropped from 41 to 39. I said Baltimore would win this game, kind of an upset pick, even though they riddled with injuries. It's now that Deshaun Watson may not play, and he's been running a lot. I'm kind of surprised. He's not a guy that, he's always been an athlete. He's always been kind of a scrambler, but he's running a lot. And I think that's a part of the Stefanski offense that I really don't like. It wouldn't surprise me if, Cleveland, if they don't make the playoffs right now, they look like a playoff team. The Browns look really good. It wouldn't surprise me if Stefanski goes, and the offense is not a good fit for Deshaun Watson. You gave Watson all that money. It's guaranteed. He's got receivers. You got defense. So I'm kind of thinking that Cleveland's going to be a fun team to watch this year. I do like Baltimore. I think people are listening to me. I'm affecting the point spread nationwide, but yeah, I like Baltimore in this one. One line that hasn't budged is Miami at Buffalo. Buffalo's a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 53.5. I still like Buffalo here. Miami's looked so impressive. 70. When in my power rankings, full disclosure, if Miami goes to Buffalo and wins, they may vault up to number 1. That's just impressive. But this is going to be a fun game. This is probably going to be the game, the first game that I watch. Obviously, the Jacksonville games. I left that out, by the way. That this is the first London game, so Jacksonville in Atlanta will come out. It'll be what, 8:30 Central Time. I think it's 8:30, so that'll be the first game I'll watch, and then I'll dive into the early games. And then don't forget, even though I don't have the link, I haven't set up the stream yet, and that's on me. It's been look, folks, it's just been a hectic week, so I'm sorry. It's not the hardest thing to do, but I'll have the stream set up. Really, really soon. But I like Buffalo. So with the CGJ injury may come back. Yeah, absolutely. There's also a possibility that a team overpays for him. One thing that Dorsey, now I understand Holmes is the general manager, but the Lions are doing a lot of things like the Chiefs did. One thing that Dorsey was really bad about was the way he dealt with some of these free agents, and the CGJ. That's a tough one because he's talented and versatile enough to command bigger money, and he made a mistake going on a 1-year deal because of the injury. Could he come back? Sure. Is there a team out there that's desperate, that says, hey, look, we need a guy. And, or a team that thinks, hey, we're one guy away. I'm a team like Dallas, for example, it'll be hard to say, but that's a guy when free agency hits that's going to be very, very interesting. We're going to do a ton of draft stuff, ton of free agency stuff. So if we have an average player get paid bank, we get a comp. Yeah. You're gonna get comp picks. I mean, that's a big plus about losing players, that you do get comp picks. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just, this isn't something you've had to deal with before. This is something new and something different. Your coordinators leaving for head coaching jobs, players leaving for more money in free agency, filling holes with cheaper, younger players. It's going to be a different thing, but I'd be really shocked if the Lions weren't the dominant team in the North over the next couple of years, because the Bears are a disaster right now. Minnesota, I don't think they're sold on Kirk Cousins, and all I hear is all these good things about him, but why haven't they tried to lock him down to a long-term deal? I understand he's 36 and all that stuff, but if you like Cousins, why? I mean, seriously, what's wrong with him signing a 2 or 3 year deal? There's a reason why. Green Bay, I'm not sold on Love. And if you're Green Bay, it's different having a guy like Love, because you had Favre and Rodgers too. I did a video, top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Both Favre and Rodgers made it in my top 10 of all time. And honestly, if I had to choose a Packers all-time quarterback to lead my team, it'd probably be Bart Starr. But that's another argument. But you got 3 really, really, really good quarterbacks. So having a guy like Jordan Love who's just okay, I don't think that really cuts it. Yeah. I think so. One Pride says we're probably ruling the North for the next 5 years. Listen, One Pride. As a Chiefs fan, I understand that feeling. Enjoy it. It's been well earned. Next up, Tampa Bay at New Orleans. New Orleans, a 3.5 point favorite. Over-unders at 39. It's now Saints -3. I forgot to double check. I'm pretty sure Kamara's back. Winston's going to start instead of Carr. I didn't double check before I came on the show, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see Winston. Honestly, if Carr finishes that game, they probably win that game against Green Bay. I'm really high on the Saints. I'm not sold on Tampa Bay. I think that 2-0 start was a little fluky. The defense looks good. Baker's just a different guy. Oh, trust, we've been so much. Yeah, I know. Keys, welcome, brother. It's different as a Chiefs fan, though, Dan. We have that feeling because our coach is number 4 in all-time wins, and our quarterback is on track to go down as the GOAT by the accolades while physically possessing something, Brady. Well, it is, but it's not. We're witnessing history just like the Lions are witnessing history for the first time. So that in that aspect, we're very similar because for years, keep in mind with Marty Ball in the 90s, the Chiefs won a lot of games, but they weren't a threat in the playoffs. This is the first time I can remember. I've seen some good teams from the Lions, but this is the first time that I'm looking at the Lions over the next several years is like, this is the dominant team in the North. So in that aspect, no. Going with Tampa. Okay. So one pride. Okay. No, I didn't. So here's the drill. Here's what happened. I had to work. I got off work at 11:30. I shut off the Amazon app. I deleted all the social media. I had to wake up at 5:30. So 11:30 to 5:30. I can watch a game on YouTube, skip all the commercials. I can do it in about 45 minutes. I was really looking forward to it. I was really excited about it. The Amazon streaming tool is shit. This go skip forward, backwards. It's pure shit. After the first, if I remember correctly, I think Goff's third play was a pick, if I remember correctly. I saw the score 34-20, and I'm like, oh, fuck me. And I was so mad because I did all this stuff so I wouldn't know anything about the game. I watched, I think, 3 or 4 plays, and I knew the Lions won. I was just so mad. So what I did is I just watched some highlights. I read some stuff. I looked at the box score, and I really didn't need to watch the game because if Green Bay won the game, it's different. All right. With Detroit winning, it's crowning the Lions as the new king in the North. If Green Bay wins that game, it's like, okay, well, it's a revenge game. They're amped up. It's Lambeau Thursday night. I got it on DVR, and I'm so sorry. I feel like a dick because I'm talking about it. I watched bits and pieces. I was just pissed because I got some personal shit that's been going on this week. It's been a hard week, man. It's just been a hard week, and I was really looking forward to having some fun for Thursday night. Like I got off work at 11:30. I knew I was going to get like no sleep. So when I got off work, I took a nap and then slammed an energy drink, came on the show. I got coffee, but I just polished off an energy drink. So anyway, I'm sorry about that. Sorry for the rant, but anyway, yeah. For years, we've been a laughing stock for team. Yeah, I get it. I want you guys to enjoy it. I really want you guys to enjoy it. Oh my God. Gooch the Ghost is here. You know, Gooch, don't get me wrong. I like the Ghost, but the talent's better. And the giant belt. I need the belt. There it is. AKA the talent. I love the talent. Half man, half amazing. I love this. It's Gooch the Ghost, the talent, half man, half amazing, because Gooch is so much of a stud. He gets 3 nicknames. He gets 3. I love it, man. Gooch, welcome, brother. Gooch, Actually, my boy George on Twitter, and I'll send you guys if you aren't following him. He was on my show a couple weeks ago. He had a funny stat line. He said over under Taylor Swift's appearances on Sunday Night Football at 13.5. And I'm like, oh, it's over. I know. So I know Keys loves seeing Taylor Swift. I mean, are you as excited as Keys about seeing Taylor Swift about, I'm going to say 15, 20 times on Sunday night? Hopefully, Gooch, you are able to join me when I do Chiefs Jets Sunday night. I don't have the live stream set up yet, but I'll have it set up soon, and I'll send you guys the link. Hopefully, you guys can hop on. Oh, snap. You got to go over. That was my reaction. That was my reaction. And by the way, one pride. So you got Tampa. All right. I like the Saints a lot. But I mean, listen, the one thing about this channel is that you don't always have to agree with me. You know, I encourage trash talk, not name calling, and I encourage people to, you know, have their opinions, because the main reason I created this is I want to hear from 32 different fan bases, and I want to hear from people that have different opinions. So I love the fact that you got Tampa Bay, but the Lions won in dominating fashion, controlled the line of script. Yeah, no, I know that. I know that. I know enough about the game to know that they won. It wasn't a fluke win. So here's the deal. This thing, it wasn't a fluke win. It wasn't like, oh, if this play went different, oh, if you know, golf didn't, you know, that was called a penalty. No, it's just they dominated on the road. So you know, I off the top of my head, I don't remember when they play, and I should normally have the Chiefs schedule memorized. I know that we play the Jets Sunday night, and then next week we travel up to Minnesota. So we're gonna. I'm not gonna lie. We're probably gonna kick the crap out of Minnesota. Let me see here. Next game, I already went over it, but Denver at Chicago. Chicago's a 3-point home dog. The over-under is at 46. It's been going up, which I'm kind of surprised about, but I like Denver to kind of rebound. They're not as bad as they played at Miami. They're going to rebound. I don't know how much, but they're going to rebound. They'll beat the Bears. Next is Cincinnati at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 2.5-point home dog. The over under is 41.5. It dropped to 41. I'm thinking this is also going to be a low scoring game. I like Cincinnati to win. I think this is, I know Cincinnati last year went 0-2, and then they were 4-4, and then they rattled off. I think it was 8 straight or something like that. I think Cincinnati, Burrow's banged up, but I think they get it done. Tennessee's a team that I think it's just a matter of time for Will Levis becomes starting quarterback. Nicholas Pierre, I think that's his name. He's the other player that was suspended 6 games. He's going to be reinstated after Sunday's game. So he's going to be a big help on the Tennessee offense. But that's a team that the defense is good, but the offense is so crazy. I know you will. I'm curious. I'm kind of curious myself, to be honest with you, because I look at Green Bay as kind of a middle of the pack team, and if I'm correct, I think we go to Lambeau. You know what? I normally have the Chiefs schedule memorized. I don't, but I believe it's in Lambeau, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. You know, you'll be a Chiefs fan that week. So. Next up is an interesting game, and it's something I meant to bring up, but we started just talking Lions here, and you know, look, man, I was wrong about you guys. I thought you'd start off slow and get better as the season goes on. I think I'm half right. I think you are going to get better as the season goes on, but no, I didn't expect 3-1. Rams at Indy. Indy is opened up at 1.5, and over under was 47. It's now 1. It's 46. And what they're going to do is Anthony Richardson Anthony Richardson completed concussion protocol. He is going to start, and I think that's a big mistake. I think that's a huge mistake. I have the Rams winning that game. But this is a game I'm really interested to watch because I want to see how he does against Aaron Donald. The Colts offensive line, which was very good for a long time, I don't think it's very good anymore. And it'll be interesting to see how Richardson handles things. This is going to be an interesting game to watch. I think Tennessee just needs to nuke their – well, they got some really good pieces on defense. They have some really good players. Jeffrey Simmons is phenomenal. Harold Landry was one of my all-time – I love Harold Landry, but he's a guy who got injured, missed off last year. He's coming back. They got some secondary pieces that aren't bad. There's some good things in Tennessee's defense. Derrick Henry's a guy that is on the downside of his career. He may have 1 or 2 games where he's the only one that can do that. He may have 1 or 2 good games, but he's on the downside of his career. He's no longer a threat to be, that dominant player in the NFL. He's not going to be a threat to hit 2,000 or do anything like that. I honestly believe that once Levis gets the reins, and with Nicholas Pierre-Freet coming back, they can kind of upgrade their offensive line. That's going to be a big thing. And then I think once Levis takes over, they can kind of analyze the way Henry's contract. I think his contract's up at the end of this year, and I think they'll start to design the team around Levis. But on defense, they have some really good. That's a good defensive team. It's just the offense needs a lot of help. Only North team that was able to beat my Lions, believe it or not. The Chiefs are my second team. Man, I love the fact that I turned you into a Chiefs fan. That's awesome. Simmons, Landry, they do have some good pieces on defense. You're taking Indy. Seriously. If Gardner Minshew was starting, I think it'd be a much better. I think they'd have a much better chance. But the fact that they're going with Anthony Richardson, I think will really cause problems. I think Aaron Donald, and it may not show up on the stat line, but I think Aaron Donald will just be a dominant factor in this game and cause a lot of problems. Seriously, even if it may show up on the stat line, I mean, it may be like 2.5, 3.5 sacks or something like that. But the Rams are a team I think that's a little better than their record. They lost a close one on Monday night. The offensive line's not very good. Don't get me wrong, Indy has some really good pieces on defense, but I just think that the Anthony Richardson starting, not a good move. Not a good move. Oh, God, I did too. And by the way, Harold Landry, when he came out, the Chiefs were still running the 3-4. This was before Spags took over. And Harold Landry, I just thought was a guy I wanted so badly on the Chiefs defense, which was running a 3-4 at the time. I love his game. And honestly, Harold Landry opposite Aiden Hutchinson would just be phenomenal. Mahomes did what, man? Slasher! Oh man, Jalen Carter is just too good. I don't know what his ceiling really is, but once he starts getting a snap count up, the season goes on. Seriously, he's probably I don't know who's my defensive rookie of the year because Christian Gonzalez is playing lights out, but Jalen Carter is phenomenal. So I talked about this on Tuesday, but the safety, do you remember the safety they had? I watched that play a couple times. There's a lot of things I'm going to change and upgrade as show goes on. One of the things I want to do in the future, honestly, it may not be this year, but I want to start showing clips of games And the safety that you had right after the interception, the score's 20-3, third quarter. I forgot who it was on the Bucs that got the interception. So Tampa Bay's got the ball on the 2-yard line, and they ran the ball. They tried to run the ball to Jalen Carter. They double-teamed Jalen Carter, and he pushed two guys back. So he had to cut in the end zone to the opposite side, where there was multiple players, and it caused a safety. Now, Jalen Carter, that won't show on the stat sheet. Nothing on the stat sheet will show for Jalen Carter, but Jalen Carter caused that safety. He is phenomenal. And it's also a microcosm because that's a guy the Bears need, is a guy like Jalen Carter. And instead they get Darnell Wright, who I thought was at 10 was a reach. And instead of the Bears getting a dominant force like Jalen Carter, they're going to get a guy who's, hey, look, going from even the SEC, but going from college to the NFL is still a big, jump. But when I look at how dominant Jalen Carter is playing, and knowing Chicago could have got that guy, but yeah, Jalen Carter, it's funny because I've been watching Philly. Their offense looks off. I'm not sold on the offense, but the defense almost looks better. So will Buckner. Oh yeah, Buckner's gonna yeah, because that offensive line is banged up. But I still like the Rams, man. I still like the Rams, but I get why. Honestly, I'm starting to believe we're running a multiple defense now. It's if that's what you're doing, I'm more on board with you guys. If that's what you're doing, I'm more on board with you guys keeping Glenn and a lot of the things that I thought you guys should have moved on from Aaron Glenn, and I never understood why you guys didn't run the same defense the Saints ran. But if the problem was that you guys wanted to run a multifaceted defense, you just didn't have the players, then I'm on board with you guys and everything that you're doing. So Jordan Davis, yeah, I mean the defense is phenomenal. The defense is phenomenal. And Slasher, you're right about Edwards. Gardner was your only big loss. Well, they lost Kazir White and Edwards, but the defense. And correct me, when is Nakobe Dean coming back? I'm curious if he's going to be a stud NFL linebacker or not. And then that's one thing that can, I think it was D. Delaney Hurts. Yeah. And that's one thing is that I've been watching Philly, and one thing is that I always believed the Lions weren't using. They never were using DeAndre Swift correctly. I always believed that, but what I was told was that, look, Dan, it's not that. It's just that he was always injured. He was always hurt. But every time I watched him, it just something just felt off, because I wanted DeAndre Swift on the Chiefs when they drafted CEH. Now, I think you got to decrease his carries. I don't think he's a 25 carry a back. I don't think he's 25 carry a game back. That's what I was trying to say. I think he's a guy that's better suited to run 15 touches. But he's had some really good games, but the offense really looks like the offense doesn't look. Now, keep in mind, they've played against some good teams. The Bucs team has a good defense. But defensively, they almost look better. So TJ Edwards is not very good. He can get you 10 tackles, though. Those tackles will come 20 yards down. Kazir White, I'm going to tell you this. Kazir White was with the Chargers, and I was overjoyed when he left the Chargers, because he's a 3-down linebacker that can do everything. And I was snickering when he signed. I was like, how did the Eagles get him for such a steal? I think he's back with Arizona. And he is a really good football, very underrated football player. Coffee and I'm double dipping coffee and water. I always liked Cunningham. So Dean, when healthy, is good. That's one thing I want to see. That's one thing I want to see because I haven't watched Dean play, but I mean, if he ends up being a stud like he was in Georgia, then oh my God, Edwards is getting torched in Chicago. That whole team is just a disaster right now. I'm not blaming our linebackers. I just think it's just that team is just awful. Swift is a beast. I think he can get 100 on 15 touches, especially. Seriously, he's been playing lights out. He's been playing lights out. I would really, if I'm the Eagles, and you have to tell me, is it because Rashad Penny is injured, which he's always been? But I would try to decrease his touches. That's just my opinion. The defensive line might be the best in the league, better than the 49ers, I believe. So I think the linebackers really just feed off of them. It's hard to argue. I mean, you got. I think Fletcher Cox is going into Canton someday. Brandon Graham should never pay for a meal in Philly. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he'll be in the Eagles' Ring of Honor when he hangs it up. And those two guys are really, really good. Then you add Jordan Davis. And Jalen Carter is just playing phenomenal. I don't know Hassan Reddick's sack total, and it may not even be that important, but he's just a threat. And when you have those tackles, it's just amazing. Better than the Niners? I don't know. That's a good thought process. It's a good debate. I'll tell you what, I would take Jalen Carter over Hargrove easily. That's not even a question. So I'd probably agree with you there. Yeah. Your defense is playing lights out, except for that game against Seattle. And I'm leaning to believe that might have been a fluke game. But yeah. Riddick got the club off his hands. Okay. 0 sacks. Okay. And listen, that's really not important because I know against Tampa Bay, he was disruptive, and you really don't need sacks if you're disruptive and causing problems. And that's what they're doing right now. So I'm not worried about that at all. Sweat has 1.5 or 2. Seriously, you got lots of guys. You have lots of guys. It wouldn't surprise me if Derek Barnett ends up on the chopping block. We were talking earlier about players Lions may trade for. I don't know if that would be a guy or not, but that's a guy I always thought would blossom into something better than what he's been. So it might be something for a team like Detroit to take a look at. I agree with you, Slashers. I wouldn't mind him on the Chiefs defensive line either. I really like Derek Barnett coming out of Tennessee. It just hadn't panned out yet. Next game is a game that's had no action. I think it's kind of a snooze game, but it's Pittsburgh at Houston. Houston's a 3-point home dog. And over under is 42. I think Pittsburgh's going to continue to win. I think this game's just going to be dog ugly. I love the fact that Houston got its first win on the road against a division opponent, and Arizona hates it. Remember, Arizona gets Houston's first and third round picks in next year's draft, but this is an opportunity for Pittsburgh to kind of sneak some wins in as they're trying to figure out what they're doing offensively. Cam Hayward's going to miss, I think, about 2 months, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. This is a game I'm going to pay attention to because if Houston wins this game and they win 2 in a row, I think you really got to sit up and take notice. But Pittsburgh goes on the road, does what they're supposed to do. I want to see if offensively they can get some things going. So Barnett has been playing some really good snaps, really good in run defense. He just needs to find some new footing, I think. Well, I mean, he's a guy that, if I'm correct, he's a free agent after this year. And I think ultimately I haven't seen, if I remember correctly, I haven't seen much of Nolan Smith, and I think it's just a matter of time before Nolan Smith start taking Barnett snaps. That's kind of my thought process. You have to let me know, by the way, why we haven't seen Nolan Smith. Is it injury, or Lions defense is on Pats with Philly? Are you trying to say it's on par with Philly? I'm not sure, man. I'd probably would go with Philly's defense. Their defensive line's definitely better. Yeah, give me Houston. It is in Houston. This is a game I'm really going to pay attention to because if Houston wins at home against the Steelers, then it's kind of like, hey, look, maybe this is a team that's going to turn the corner. This is a team that's really just been struggling. But if they can turn the corner against Pittsburgh, now Pittsburgh wins this game, and it's what they should do. I'm going to pay attention to the offense because I think my score prediction was 19-15. That's what I'm expecting, just a dog ugly game. And if that's the case, then, I'm kind of wondering, well, what's going to happen. But this is a game I'm going to pay attention to. So far, One Pride is just purposefully disagreeing with me on every single game. But I tell you what, C.J. Stroud, that was a big win at Jacksonville. By the way, Jags fans are jumping off buildings right now. And by the way, they started last year. I think it was like 4-8 or something. So, yeah, I didn't think he was injured, but he's not playing that much. That's why I wouldn't surprise me if you take Derek Barnett and you put him on the chopping block. It wouldn't surprise me if he was a trade or a trade deadline candidate. Jason, what's up, brother? Man, I haven't seen you in a while, man. You like the Broncos? I like the Broncos this week too. Jason, I don't have my picks video below, but it's on my YouTube channel. Please check it out. Let me know what you like and what you don't like. But I like the Broncos too against the Bears. Is that just like your game of the week, or But let me know what other games you like. That I'm going over all of them, but if you don't mind, check out my weekly picks video. By the way, I'm probably going to try to do my weekly picks video. I'm going to try to get it out earlier in the day instead of 6. I want to try to get it out. I'm thinking Monday morning power rankings video, and then Tuesday afternoon picks. And the picks video may just be I may just make it shorter because I really want to try to get more people involved and try to get more opinions of what people are thinking. By the way, I messed up. I put that I was 5-11 last week. I was actually 6-10. So I'm really mad he didn't fall further. LOL. Yeah. And by the way, it was just I will stand by this. I'll stand by it that I'm assuming you're talking about Jalen Carter. Chicago should have took him. They really should have. No, my game of the week is yeah. It's the second biggest spread of the week. The biggest spread, San Francisco, but Kansas City. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. At the beginning of the season, this looked like an awesome game, Sunday night, Rodgers, Mahomes. But I like this, and Chiefs fans are sick of Taylor Swift. I want to see more of it. Actually, I want to see more of it. I love him, Slasher. We even stole him from the pack. Oh, Brian Branch. Okay, Brian Branch. I seriously, I don't know how he got at round. I don't know how he got out of round 1. I haven't gone over this one yet, but yeah, I do like the Niners. You know what? I'll go out of order here. San Francisco is a 14-point favorite. Over-under is 43.5, and nothing's changed. I like San Francisco to win. I think the battle of division rivals, I got Arizona covering 14, so I think it's closer than people think. But I do like 49ers to win this game. Right now, I think 49ers are the best team in football. Offensively, tons of weapons. Christian McCaffrey is my MVP. We're going to have to see what happens this next week, but through 3, Christian McCaffrey is my MVP. 49ers, I think, are the best team in football. I think they win. I don't think they cover 14. So now I'm talking about Branch. You really wanted the Eagles to grab them. I absolutely agree. Poles did good by Fields getting the lineman in the draft, but pass on. Yeah, exactly. And I understand the logic. Like, hey, we wanted to fix up the offensive line. But passing up a guy like Jalen Carter when you needed help on that defensive front 7, because they ended. Now, keep in mind, I do like the kid they got in the second round out of Florida. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name, but he's not the same type of guy. He's not the same type of guy. Okay, I can't think of his name. You're not alone. You're not alone. Yeah, you're not alone, Jason. But I think it's going to be closer than people think. Cardinals have been giving some teams problems, and they're a scrappy team. Next game is one of my upset picks. I got 2 of them. Vegas at the Chargers. Chargers were a 6-point favorite. The over-under was 48. Now they're a 5-point favorite. It looks like Derwin James and Austin Eckler are not going to play. I wouldn't surprise me if this line drops, but I got the Raiders actually winning. I think it's going to be an upset. Just a weird hunch. I'm not sold on the Chargers, but I know the Raiders kind of look bad, but I think they surprised this week. I understand he fell, but when young dudes sees huge rookie contracts, their whole mindset changes. You know what? That's not true most of the time. A lot of rookies just blow through that money, and it's just hard because when you're 2021, money management something that you don't do a lot of. You're not alone, man. I think Arizona covers, but I wouldn't bet on it. What do I think about the Vikings? I like the Vikings a lot. I did that earlier. I like. The line jumped from 3.5 to 4.5. I think I had if I remember right, my score prediction's 31-27. So I had them covering 3.5, not 4.5. But do I think they could cover 4.5? Yeah, I do. I think Minnesota, out of all the winless teams, I think Minnesota is easily the best. I'm not sold on Carolina, so. You just needed to start. Yeah. The Bears need some help, man. Bears need some help. And the problem was, remember, they got rid of. First of all, they got rid of. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. Lots of blanks here. Nolan Smith and the guy who set the Bears sack record with like 18.5 or 19.5. They got rid of both those guys last year for draft picks. They really needed to rebuild that front 7. They also needed some help on the offensive line, and I would have done just the opposite. I would have built talent on the front 7 through the draft, and I would have gotten experienced offensive linemen. You could have done the same thing that the Broncos did, and that you overpay for offensive linemen. Yeah, I know Broncos 0-3, but that's what I would have done. Is that I would have spent money in free agency on the offensive line, not those 2 linebackers. And then I would have built that front 7 through the draft. And that's what I think they should have done. But I think it's just a matter of time for Chicago just kind of cleans house. And I think Eberflus is going to be the first head coach to go. Yeah, that's true. There's been hundreds of first round, early second round picks that stay around for second contracts. I'd also assume that agents would recommend if you're okay, so here's the deal. The Keys isn't in the chat right now, but Keys blasted Chris Jones's agent, and what it is they had a couple guys that I think branched off from Lee Steinberg's, but a lot of these bigger agencies have money managers and other things. The NFL Players Association has classes, and some teams are better than others about offering financial advice. I think that all these guys, need like a business manager. Some agents. So one thing about agents is that they only get, I think like it's 2 or 2.5%. A lot of people feel like agents get a lot on contracts. It's really not the contracts. Agents get the money off the endorsements. Anytime you see a player on a commercial, usually 75% goes to the agent, 50 to 75%. So agents are really big on trying to get that endorsement money. And there's perks, like if you're a big name, you can go to a car dealership, you sign a few footballs, and you get a demo. Restaurants will let you eat for free left and right, So I mean, there's all sorts of other perks. Well, the Colts are favored, Jason, but I like the Rams. Anthony Richardson's getting the start, and yeah. I know some guys went broke. Oh, dude, yeah, it was funny. I was just listening to Deion Sanders. He said, "What was the dumbest thing you did as a rookie?" He goes, "I bought this BMW, and it's nothing against BMW. It's just that it was a 5-speed, and I don't know how to drive a stick shift, so I never drove it." So, here's a guy who brought a brand new BMW, never drove the thing because he doesn't know how to drive a stick shift, and there's all sorts of stories about guys. Terrell Owens, wasn't he on Oprah about filing bankruptcy? I remember Chris McAllister made like 60 or 90 million. He had to live at home with his parents after the NFL. He just blew so much money. There's so many. I don't know if you remember, if you ever saw it, there was an NFL series called Broke, where like they mentioned like it was like 90% or it was like 85 to 90% of NBA and NFL players filed bankruptcy like 2 years after playing. And it was crazy because those guys I wouldn't thought of, like Bernie Kosar. Bernie Kosar was completely broke after his playing days, and he talks about like all the things that happened with his story, which is really sad. Same teams. Yeah, you're right. LT was on so much. His son is like a lifetime jail sentence for dealing crack cocaine too. But I've heard that story. Actually, there's a clip where Bill Parcells was talking to Tony Dungy about how every player thinks they're worth like $850,000, but LT's really. But yeah, LT spent a lot of money. I love listening to Lawrence Taylor talk. The next upset I have, New England at Dallas. Dallas is a 7-point, opened up as Dallas opened up as a 7-point favorite. Over under is 43.5. It's now 6-44. I got New England as my upset pick here. I like the way they match up against Dallas. I just think that Dallas has a smaller, faster team. New England has that big physical offensive line. I really think that they're going to control the ball, get a few turnovers, and it's kind of an upset one. Jason, I should have had it in the description, but you know what? Bear with me here. If you get a chance, check it out. But I'll do this here for you. This is my pick with all my picks. I do it every week, and I'll put it in the description here. But I do a weekly picks video. Are you in a Survivor league, just picking winners, point spreads? To tell you the truth, I do all my picks. I go over to point spread. Now, keep in mind, I use DraftKings at the beginning of the week, and then what I've been doing on Friday's show is if I don't have a guest, if I don't have a guest, I kind of just go over to over-unders and just pick. So, my two upset picks are Raiders and Patriots. my two upset picks. Well, the Rams are a minor upset. Trying to think here who else I have. I had Green Bay. You know what? Let's do this here. Monday night, New York's favored. I like Seattle. It normally a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast, but it's on Monday night. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But yeah. Deuce tried to start his own Nissan car company after retiring. It failed, and they sued him because he couldn't. Yeah. There are so many stories about NFL players because they had success on the gridiron. They think they can take it to business, or even worse is that usually if you're like a 5-star player, you usually have kind of like an entourage, and once you sign, they're like, "Hey, man, I got a plan for a business. I just need like a startup." And, because they've been with you since you were in high school, since you're broke, you just give them the money and they don't know what to do. So one guy, he had a good plan. I forget which player it was. One of his entourage was like, "Hey, man, I want to open up a car wash. I just need, $25,000 or whatever." And he goes, "Okay, show me your business plan." And he's like, "Oh, man, it's just me." And he's like, "Hey, look, no, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. Some players are. I remember I heard stories that Eric Dickerson supposedly was like the cheapest guy in the world. He still has money, and they showed. Eric Dickerson was one of my favorite players to watch. They showed like he's got this like awesome house in Los Angeles. Tyron Smith of Dallas. His story is very interesting. When he was at USC, he was dating, I think they're married now. She was like several years older, and she worked for it's a company that you would recognize. It's a big financial company. She managed the company, and they signed a crazy contract with Dallas, but it's all guaranteed, but it's like way below market value. And so what they wanted to do is that they thought that it was smart to have guaranteed money instead of risking injury because they're investing it correctly. They actually had to sue and call the police on Tyron Smith's parents and family for like coming to their house demanding money. It was just crazy. It was just crazy, but that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm gonna I'll DVR it. I can go through. Just winners, Green Bay. Yeah, I had Green Bay. I've been saying it all off season, but like I'm on Rob, but the whole receivers are taken before me stick. It's not. It works for yeah. Jason, kneel before your That's awesome. No, if I remember right, Jason, you told. Oh, you are okay. I was thinking you're a Tampa fan. Jasmine Gray, hi there. This is Jasmine. I will take the Commanders. We'll cover this game and on the win. Oh my God! You know what, Jasmine? Welcome. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I do have Washington covering. I don't see them winning in Philly, but right now the line's gone from 8 to 9.5. And I do got them covering. So Jasmine Gray, good. Jasmine, well, there's a few Jasmines I know, but anyway, Jasmine, welcome. He's a good player, but Chase and Waddle are definitely better than him, and also think him and Devontae Smith are neck and neck with each other. He's definitely better than the rest, though. Yeah, Devontae Smith's an underrated guy, and that whole thing, it started off with the Brady 6, where Brady, brought up the other quarterbacks, and yeah. Neil, by the way, this is the trash talk that I want to hear. I had the Vikings winning before the season, but I really thought it'd come down to the last 3 weeks. I don't think that anymore. I think this is Detroit's division, and yeah. I thought they would be a lot more. You know what? I think they're going to be about 500 team. It wouldn't surprise me if they go 9-10 wins. They're not on Detroit's level. They're not. I like the Vikings at the beginning of the year because I thought that they did the thing that I thought Detroit should have done, and they got Brian Flores, and I think as the season goes on, they're going to get better and better and better. But they're 0-3, Detroit's 3-1, and that's just, I mean, it's if I'm ranking the teams top to bottom, how I think they're going to finish. I think that the way they're going to finish is I think Minnesota's going to finish second. But I was really high on the Vikings, and I wasn't as high on the Lions. The thing is, though, I thought the Lions would get better as the season goes on. I still think that. So barring injury, I barring injury, I think the Lions win this division. Minnesota gets into the playoffs, which they can do. I mean, they can do it. If they get in the playoffs, they're a dangerous team because I think the defense is going to get better as the year goes on. Also, really like Jordan Addison, and oh God, I can't believe I almost forgot Justin Jefferson's name. And what Justin Jefferson's doing right now is just amazing. So. Their offensive line was getting bent over really badly. You do have time. I think it's the Lions division, but if you make it into the playoffs, it's game on. Just like last year, yet you were a 13-win team and you lost to a 9-win team. It could be just the opposite this year. I'll tell you what, if the Vikings get things turned around, I don't want to play them in the playoffs because I think the defense could be good. But it's not going to be good right away. Smart move getting Cam Akers. Real smart move getting Cam Akers. You have some injuries on your offensive line. Jordan Addison's a perfect number 2 because I like that guy as a number 2. If you drafted Jordan Addison and you needed him to be the number 1 guy, I would. But as a number 2, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up with a 1,000-yard season. Doesn't he already have a couple touchdowns? So Bacchiardi being out was yeah. And that's a thing that this draft, if I'm Green Bay, because there are some good offensive tackles in this draft, I think you got to get one. And another thing about Green Bay, though, is that Lucas Van Ness is a guy that also has a very high ceiling, but it's going to take him some time. So Hutch is him. Yeah. Kirk's playing really good. Actually, Flores is smart to, yeah. And here's the deal. It's just going to take some time on defense. It's going to take some time because they're going to adjust what Flores does, and Flores is going to need some more pieces. I thought in the draft what they were going to do was trade down and try to get a bunch of pieces. Instead, they got good value in Addison. I think he was 23rd. If I remember correctly, and him number 2 because he replaces Thielen, I think is a smart move. You get somebody younger, more upside at this point in his career, more upside, and somebody can take a little pressure off of Jefferson. I really like it, but now the thing I do like defensively is that you got a stud in Danielle Hunter. I love that dude. So. Eagles did what they wanted to against them on the ground. And that's something that's going to improve as the year goes on. Jasmine, our defense know how to win championships since 2020 during COVID-19. Our defense know how to win championships since 2020. I have no idea. Are you talking Chiefs? I know a couple Jasmines, and yeah. I will say though, Danielle Hunter is so worth the extension. He's already got 5 sacks. I love Danielle Hunter because I remember when he came out of LSU, I thought he was. Remember he went into the. I'm just drawing a complete blank now. The former, he was with Dion for a little bit. The old head coach of the Vikings, drawing a complete blank on his name. I can't believe I love the dude. I love the dude. Former defensive coordinator, and him and Cousins hated each other anyway. Danielle Hunter, he was 6'5", 250 coming out of LSU, and I thought he was more of an outside linebacker. And I said you have to put on the NFL 20, and I don't know if he's going to be a good defensive end in that. Zimmer, thank you, Slasher, in Zimmer's defense, and he did just that. And now he's going back to, I think, his natural position, but after he put on the weight. So, but I love Danielle Hunter. He's a dominant player. So you have a stud that you can build around, but you need to build around him, and it's going to take some time. He's my favorite I love Danielle Hunter. And I agree with both you guys, by the way, that Danielle Hunter would look awesome in a Chiefs uniform. Yeah. Yeah. I think she's talking about the Chiefs. I like your coach too. Your defense looks. I'm sorry. I had you confused with Slasher, but no, I like Kevin O'Connell. I think you'll get things turned around, but I don't think you're going to catch Detroit this year. And then the whole Cousins thing after the season's over, that's going to be an interesting story. The last 2 games, I mean, I already revealed the Monday night, but I'll talk about the Chiefs for a little bit. I mean, let's face it, I'm a Chiefs fan. The line went from 9.5 to 9, and the over-under went from 42.5 to 41.5. This is one of the I'm going to tell you something right now. These are actually, believe it or not, 2 of the best defenses in the National Football League. The Kansas City Chiefs defense is playing really good football, and the Jets have a phenomenal defense. I do got Kansas City winning. I think they'll cover. I predicted 24-14, which would be under, and that's kind of the way I see it. I don't think that the Jets would basically have to get like a defensive or special teams touchdown and really keep the offensive line, which, lots been made about another name freeze, the Chiefs right tackle who, was jumping off sides. Lots been made about that, but can't believe I forgot his name. But I don't think that this is really going to be a problem. So he should come back to the NFL. He wasn't that bad. So what happened was he went down to Jackson State with Dion, and I don't know if he went to Colorado or not. And I was really surprised that he went to the college ranks because he's one of the most well-respected defensive minds in football. But if he wants – so the NFL goes in cycles. There used to be a time when you wanted to hire a former head coach who was a defensive-minded guy, and that was in vogue in the NFL. Now it's just the opposite. You want to hire an offensive-minded guy who has no head coaching experience. But it goes in circles, but it wouldn't surprise me if, every year there's a handful of teams that are going to end up with new head coaches. And it wouldn't surprise me, Ben Johnson, for example. And it wouldn't surprise me if a guy like Ben Johnson, who's the Lions offensive coordinator, if he picks somebody like Mike Zimmer, a former head coach, to run the defense, and he goes, look, I'm an offensive-minded guy. I'm going to be the head coach, but I'm just going to worry about the offense. You got head coaching experience. You're an experienced coach. You take care of the defense, and I'm going to just take care of the offense, and we're going to be good. And it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. I like Zimmer. I've always been a Zimmer fan. Let's see what happens. So as the Lions, we have the 6th ranked defense. Right now you do, yeah. Lions are playing some good ball. Lions are playing very good ball. By the way, Jason, a Monday morning power rankings video, I am going to come out with it. I haven't figured out I think it's just going to be something short and sweet, just something to kind of generate discussion. I'm not probably going to go into a lot of detail, but please check it out. Please also check out my weekly picks video. Hit that notification. So I don't have a notify, but do hit the notifications. That way my weekly. Actually, Jason, this week, my picks video, I think I'm going to do a little early. Normally what I do is release it at 6 p.m. I think I'm going to start releasing it at noon because I go live Tuesday as well. So him and Pat Shurmur are the only dudes that had Case Keenum looking like a proper NFL quarterback. Well, Shurmur just had that old school offense, and it's just kind of outdated. But I think he'd be like a. Actually, I have no idea what happened with Shurmur, and then with I know Zimmer was a Dion. I have no idea where he's at now. But if I'm an NFL team, and I have a young offense, and I'm hiring a young offensive mind as my head coach, I would love to see if Zimmer would come as the defensive coordinator. I have no idea what Zimmer's interests are. I thought it was surprising that he went to college. He did have a great relationship with Dion because he was the defensive coordinator when Dion was in Dallas. So our offensive line need to run the ball this week. Jasmine, are you a Chiefs fan? I'm like 80-something% sure I know who you are now, but I don't want to say. But you're a Chiefs fan, aren't you? So, and let's see. I already touched base on this, but the last game was Seattle at New York. New York's 1.5-point favorite. The over/under is 47. I like Seattle in an upset, minor upset. And to be honest with you, I think these are kind of both middle of the pack teams. Sorry, Lions fans. Again, I know I said I was going to, and I didn't. I lied to you guys. I said I was going to watch the Seattle-Detroit game, but from what I've gathered, I think that was more of a fluke game. Even if Seattle wins, which I think would make them 3-1 if I'm correct, I'm not convinced Detroit isn't the better team. But I think New York's just got some problems right now. I don't know if Andrew Thomas is going to play. Evan Neal, who I thought could be dominant, is not. It just isn't the dude. Just for whatever reason, Evan Neal is just not the guy. So, but that's pretty much all I got this week. I think after an hour and a half, I'm just going to wrap it up. But my Monday morning power rankings, I think I'm going to have that released. I might do both my picks video and my Monday morning power rankings at noon. If I can get it out sooner, I will, because I want to get a lot of engagement and people talking about it. Every week, I'm going to start a new series, Most Annoying Fan Base, and I'm going to go with the divisions. I think I'm going to go with the AFC. By the way, the AFC West winner was the Kansas City Chiefs. So, but if there's no other questions, I'm going to wrap everything up. All my social media links are below. I will have the live stream for the Chiefs-Jets game coming out very soon. That's going to come out either tonight or tomorrow. So, Geno Smith in the fourth quarter looked like, I think it was just kind of a fluky game. I think the Lions were just such off of your euphoric high and something that they weren't used to that it just kind of went back down to earth. I that's just a guess, but I'm not sold on Seattle. Don't get me wrong. It's more I like Seattle to win more because I think the Giants are just kind of struggling right now. I didn't check Barkley's status, but I think he's going to play. So. Nothing else. I'm going to wrap up. If you get a chance Sunday night, tune in. I'll be doing play-by-play and reaction, and I'll see hopefully everybody back on Sunday.